Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This is part two of two. If you did not listen to part one, please go back and listen to that. I'm super pumped because we are 8 weeks into the 8 week winter shred. So we will be ending that soon. Everybody is looking phenomenal, and I cannot wait to share the results. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. If you cannot hear me, I'm a little bit stuffed up. My goodness, the germs have been intense here in Erie, PA, and I feel like everybody has been getting sick. So hopefully that is not the case for you. And I don't know about you, but I cannot wait for spring to be in full effect. So a new podcast episode drops every Monday. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss one. This past week on my Instagram, we celebrated Shred and Clubhouse member Maria, who has lost over 30 pounds. She went from feeling guilty and shameful with eating food to food freedom, needing to buy new clothes and donate the clothes that are now hanging off of her. If you need some motivation, head over to my Instagram, Kelly Counts Macros, counts with a K, and check it out. If you are interested in the Clubhouse membership, please direct message me or visit my website, kellycountsmacros.com, counts with a K, to learn more. This past week in the Kelly Counts Macros Clubhouse membership, we made a Reuben crunch wrap. It was on the meal plan. So good. It had all of our mouths watering in the clubhouse. And let me tell you, packed with protein, hits the spot in 500 calories less than a regular Reuben without missing out on all the flavor. Clubhouse members get exclusive access to these recipes inside the app, so you never have to scroll through social media wondering or trying to remember where you saved them. If you're anything like me, that happens to me all of the time, so we love that the recipes are all in one spot. Be sure to search for me in My Macros Plus app. If you go to buy brand and then Kelly Counts Macros, counts with a K, you can track all of my recipes. If you are a Clubhouse member, you have the added bonus of getting my full recipe book inside the membership for easy access. But if you're just following me on social media, my recipes are there as well. Last month we made the yummy shamrock shake and some really, really good soups. So go back and check out my Instagram for those recipes. Would you do me a quick favor? Please leave me a review. I read every single one and they help me reach more people. If you haven't yet, please leave a review and hit that follow button so that you don't miss a single episode. Let's change the next generation by ditching the dieting mentality. So today we are diving back into the topic that everybody is talking about, especially these days with shots, pills, Ozempic, and all the other GLP-1 meds, obesity. And last week we went over what is truly the problem, and that being lack of muscle. If you have not listened to that episode, go back and give it a listen. Today we are going to talk about why it's so important for women specifically. I think women have really gotten a constant narrative about you've hit menopause. Now you're going to have a menopausal belly and you're going to gain about 30 pounds and it's going to be this. This is just how it's going to be. That does not have to happen. There are ways in which you can manage your body composition through your nutrition and training. Again, we are leveraging protein and food as medicine and movement as medicine rather than taking something external. I really wish doctors would prescribe protein, movement, and a consult with me. So I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but that's my wish list for doctors. What I would tell and why it's so important for a menopausal, postmenopausal woman, there's a natural decline in the hormones, the estrogen, the progesterone. There's an imbalance of testosterone, which can affect body composition. But one of the ways it affects body composition is we move less. We are less active. The way to combat that is through very simply doing some resistance training, which simply means, again, against an external load. It doesn't have to be complicated and it's not necessarily as difficult as people think. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to make it super easy. The first meal of the day is going to have between 30 and 50 grams of protein. Easy. I don't care if it's a protein shake. This is legitimately fail proof. you're going to have between 30 and 50 grams of protein at that first meal. Maybe add in a Greek yogurt. You're not going to go over 30 grams or so of carbohydrates for that first meal because we don't want to skew this insulin and give you that robust response. Again, I'm giving you a broad generalization, but we're just going to define it and design it so that people can execute it right away. You can have a little bit of berries. You can mix the shake with water or with an unsweetened vanilla almond milk or whatever it is that you want. Something not major that is calorically dense, or grab a Fairlife protein shake. Okay, you've done that. You're doing great. Maybe you want some smaller meal in the day. Maybe it has 20 grams of protein and 20 grams of carbohydrates. What does that look like? It could be 3 eggs. It could be chicken salad. It could be whatever it is that you want. And then the last meal, if you're having two larger meals and a smaller meal in the middle, your last meal is also important because you're getting ready to go into an overnight fast. You woke up in the morning coming out of an overnight fast, your skeletal muscle, your organs is primed for nutrients. You stimulate muscle with your dietary protein. You're doing an amazing job, right? You improved your signaling. You've made your muscle youthful. You are no longer hungry. Your body is now metabolizing things. You're not gaining weight. We really are setting ourselves up for success. Your next meal is a little bit smaller. Your last meal of the day is going to mirror your first meal. So the last meal of the day is between 30 and 50 grams of protein. You want your burger, you want your chicken, you want your salmon, you want your tofu. Great. You have now nailed it. By the way, if people understand the concepts in the Shred and Clubhouse membership, you will lose body fat by just addressing the dietary component of calorie deficit and protein, which is mind blowing. Just two simple things: calorie deficit and protein. You will improve your body composition by changing your dietary protein in your breakfast. By simply doing that, maybe swapping out your cereal and adding in a protein. I have seen huge changes in body composition simply by doing that. So let's talk a little bit to the vegetarians and folks that have a vegan diet. What are the considerations as you're thinking protein forward and the amino acids and the sand particle aspect that we talked about on last week's episode of macronutrient and protein? Dietary protein is not created equal. Ideally, you are eating whole foods. Now, this brings us to this category of dietary protein and what makes up dietary protein. How do we score it? How do we think about it? An overarching way to do this very simply is that anything that is of animal nature, that means does it run, does it swim, does it walk, is a high quality protein. And what defines high quality protein is we talked about there are 20 different amino acids. We talked about this on the last episode. Go back and listen to that. So we're obviously not going into all 20 of these, but there are a handful of essential amino acids. Some of these, they're very low in plant-based proteins. What would you have to do? You would have to overconsume or increase your consumption of these plant-based proteins to bring up that level of essential amino acids. I'm going to give you a very clear example. Let's say you are going to eat 3 or 4 ounces of a beef patty, a lean beef patty that has the essential amino acid leucine. Leucine is the critical amino acid for muscle health. Now, remember, you and I were talking about how each amino acid had these dual roles, and we were going to go into all 20, but we're not going to go into all 20. But there are a handful that are really important and critical for health and well-being. One of those amino acids is leucine. And leucine, what's so fascinating is that it requires a certain amount to trigger skeletal muscle. So essentially, if you're eating under that amount, then you're not actually stimulating the mechanics of skeletal muscle. 3 to 4 ounces of a lean beef patty would stimulate muscle, would give you this whatever number, 2.5 grams of leucine to trigger the muscle to begin to have this process. So if you were to try to do that in quinoa, you would need 6 cups of quinoa because of the difference in the amino acid profile to trigger muscle the same way. Perhaps what you want to take is maybe a plant-based rice or pea blend of protein, making sure that you're hitting at least 20 grams of protein in that blend. And of course, strength training. I want to get into the second piece of advice for muscle health, which is actually lifting weights. And what I would love to explain for this, for those of us that are feeling bombarded with all the different types to exercise. Should I do yoga? Should I do Pilates? Should I go to the gym? Should I put on a streaming class? Do I need bands? Should I pick up a weight? Should I do HIIT? Should I do resistance? It's so overwhelming. Okay. If you were to talk first to anybody listening, I would say, it is confusing, but here is the one non-negotiable that everybody is going to take away and build on. No pun intended. Resistance training is any move against weight. That could be body weight. You could be doing push-ups. You could be doing bicep curls. You could be doing bands. You could be doing any different type of resistance training. That is a non-negotiable for muscle health and body composition. I will say all exercise is important and anything is better than nothing. But when we're talking about muscle-centric medicine, we are talking about getting stronger and building the infrastructure of our body. The way that we're going to do that collectively is we are going to do resistance training as a non-negotiable, which again could be weights, could be machines, could be at-home push-ups or band workout. Even if someone really wants to do yoga and Pilates, they could, but that is not going to be an ideal over a period of time. But it's a great starting place. These are perfect for the days you are not strength training and have obviously many other great benefits. And I always say something is better than nothing, the all or something mentality. So here's what I say. I say that should be lifting a minimum of 2 days a week, okay? That would be if you're only going to do 2 days a week, they're going to be full body. I love the idea that you're doing what we call multi-joint movements. Start with 2 days a week. I've been training for a period of years and years. So for me right now, dumbbells and a barbell. But for someone who's just starting out, there are still machines. Machines are super safe that you can do a squat on a machine or a leg press on a machine. There are things that involve multi joints and multi body parts at once. Super easy. We don't need to overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. 2 days a week would be the minimum, whether you're doing upper body and lower body, or again on those 2 days doing full body. Work up to 4 to 5 days. In the clubhouse membership, we work through programs together and separately if you want to, depending on your level. Here's the great news of someone who's just starting out. Those people would get the bigger benefit and see more improvement faster than someone who's been training like me for a long period of time. So, how long? I would say 8 weeks. 8 weeks, the length of the shred. Get inside of the shred, get on the wait list. It'll be in the show notes. Newbie gains are real. You will feel better immediately. You will begin to improve those immediate markers like blood sugar, triglycerides, HDL that everybody talks about. And again, it's over time, but these will be immediately impacted, which is incredible, which is absolutely incredible. I believe that you should lift heavier weights, lift until failure using progressive overload. And that is what I personally prefer to do. But the evidence would suggest as long as a woman is really taxing herself, she's not on her phone, she's not distracted, but going to where she really is fatigued and can't do another rep. Um, and tax your muscles, even if it's 10 to 20 minutes. Over a period of time, you're going to be stronger from just following that. So, can you do 10 to 20 minutes? I know a lot of people can do resistance training for 30 to 50 minutes or 30 to 60 minutes. For women, it's super important to go until failure. You could get a great workout in 7 minutes. You could get a great workout in 1 minute. If you gas yourself on some with an 80 to 90% more effort, that's good. It could literally take you 4 minutes. It doesn't have to take a ton of time. So, what are the ways to make muscle magic and what the heck is muscle magic? Basically, the way that I think about it is how can we add in snippets in the day to really augment our health? What are we going to do about health and wellness that's going to take a couple seconds to do and going to be at the forefront of our mind? Number one, you like numbers. I don't know, maybe do 10 to 20 air squats every hour. You could totally do that. Number two, stand at your desk. While I am sitting right now, the majority of the time I am at my standing treadmill desk. I'm not feeling real well right now, so I am sitting down, but the majority of the time I'm at my treadmill desk. Number three, get your heart rate up with a brisk walk to the bathroom, to the water fountain 10 times a day. Go for a walk at lunch. Literally, if you did have a glucose monitor, you ate lunch, you have that glucose monitor on, you can see improvements in your blood sugar just by using that skeletal muscle. Okay. Number four, maybe you could bring a resistance band to your office and get in a quick 10 reps of an exercise. Just be increasing your movement. Do you know that if an individual were to get cancer, one of the things that they often pass away from is this thing called cancer cachexia? I think I'm saying that right. Cachexia. I'm sure this is what my dad had. He had lung cancer, and it ends up this highly metabolic state, which ends up destroying the skeletal muscle. And you cannot survive without skeletal muscle. This just proves how important it is. Doesn't get any simpler than this. As you know, I like to keep it simple. Eat your protein and strength train. Use the all or something mentality. It's never too late to get started. So get on the shred waitlist starting soon, April 20th. Watch as the winter shred results will be coming out on my social media. Head over there, show my clients some love, and perhaps it is time for you too to feel comfortable in your own skin. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this episode helpful, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. Remember, it's not the all or nothing, it's about all or something. You're always doing better than you think you are. See you next time.